Chapter 8. Plum. I ran away from home the summer before my 17th birthday. I was in love. Her name was Ko. Ba was starting to catch on. At least, that's what I imagined was behind the interrogating looks he gave me over his glasses as he asked questions meant to have only one answer. How's the school? You save money? When you get real job, you will stop cutting the hairs? I answered the questions as any dutiful child would. Could it be a lie if you were merely doing whatever you could to survive? But really, at the same time, I was doing what any teenager did, sneaking away to be with my first love. Ko was mixed, like me. Her mother was Korean, and her father was Colombian. Her complexion, tinged with brown and orange, reminded me of the mini terracotta soldier replicas Ba kept perfectly aligned on a bookshelf in the garage. But there was nothing uniform about Ko. We met in ceramics class at the Queer Art Center, a class I had asked the teacher to audit because I couldn't afford to pay for it out of pocket, offering in exchange to help sort the glazes and the clay, wipe down the benches where students made their works, wash out the kiln, scrub its wooden wheels. I arranged a meeting with the teacher a few days before the class started, sharing a portfolio with a few prints of film photographs of plaster sculptures I had made over the past couple of years. One in particular, a bust of Audre Lorde with her words etched into the bottom, "Your silence will not protect you," she was particularly taken with. A non-binary Afro-Latinx femme. She briefly stopped to look up at me when she reached that image. It's my theory that print is the reason she agreed to the trade. Even though the ceramics series was meant for artists of varying levels, the teacher had a considerable reputation in the community and attracted many advanced artists. That's why it didn't surprise me when Ko came in with her professional-grade denim apron, complete with brown leather straps and tie in the back already well worn, covered in stains of various materials. There was something else about her, though, that gave me pause. Although I'd already come to terms with my queerness, I'd had a crush on my basketball coach who taught us PE in 7th grade, and I found myself more turned on by the heroines than the male leads when Ba would take me to the movies. I'd never really been taken with any girl in real life, until Ko. Sometimes you just know when you've met someone who knows something of your life. I could tell by looking at her that she was of mixed race, just like me, and I had a suspicion by the way her eyes turned at the last minute in their corners or by the shape of her nose that she might be part Asian too. But beyond those parallels, there was something about the way she worked that drew all of my attention to her. How she furrowed her brow as she smoothed the squat leg of her hand-formed elephant with a palette knife, or pinched the trunk with her clipped fingernail to create folds in the skin. I recognized that extended attention toward taking material in your hands and mastering it into a new form, a new body. I knew what it was like to make of the body only what you wish and throw out what didn't work for you, including the world that lived just at your periphery. Like Diane Arbus said, what's left after what one isn't is taken away is what one is. As the series continued onward, images of Ko and her menageries of animal-human hybrids that had become the focus of her pursuit began to invade my dreams, both waking and nocturnal. I was content to let them stay that way, imagining I wouldn't pursue anything further with Ko, not even a friendship, because I was afraid of Ba's reaction when he found out. I knew he would never accept something so perverse in me. What point was there to get excited by the newness of possibility, only to know it would never be mine? It was Ko that would awaken it in me on her own when I least expected it. One day, midway through the class duration, I was rinsing all the tools and organizing them to close the studio for the day. The teacher had entrusted me with the studio at this point, and so I often closed up on my own. I was so concentrated on my own duties I forgot Ko was still there, refining her project for the week. A dolphin torso with human legs and feet. As I began washing the last tool, I felt Ko next to me, her arm grazing my side as she washed the same knife I had seen her work with for weeks now. Caught off guard, I let out a little yelp and jumped backwards. Realizing she heard the sound I had made, I felt the heat rise to my face. "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I just didn't want you to have to clean this one too." She winked at me as she finished rinsing it off, giving the tool a confident shake or two to get the excess water out. I felt her arm linger next to my waist, just longer than a moment. The little black hairs on my arm stood straight up. "No worries, you're good. I just didn't realize you were still there," I overcompensated, smiling back at her. Her lips curved into a sly, knowing grin, oozing confidence. As I finished up the last of the dishes and cleaned the floor, she sat on the edge of the counter staring at me. I tried to hurry, just in case she happened to be waiting for me. I'd never asked out a girl before, so I wasn't quite sure how to proceed. But I also didn't want to miss my opportunity to spend time with Ko outside of class, just the two of us. A dream I couldn't have imagined until then. I never imagined she would make the first move. "Hey, want to grab a quick coffee around the street? I know a place that makes a killer black sesame latte." She smiled that sly grin again, holding the door open for me, tossing her thick mane of black hair to rest on her right shoulder. I melted inside. That was the moment it all began. That summer turned my life into so many shades of color I never expected, nor had ever witnessed before.